Hello, everyone, and I hope you're having a peaceful day today.
Hey
Before we
everyone!
begin, please like this story
Please
and
subscribe to our
subscribe to our
YouTube channel
channel.
so more people
It
can
helps
find
this
videos
little
like this.
community reach the right niche of listeners. Today, we'll explore what happened after Christmas, when Miss Diep looked at a red star clip on her wall and realized it was tugging her towards something bigger than a memory. A small sign on her own gate, and the courage to let the world stop for a moment at Mom's Hill Fruits. You remember that little red Christmas star clip, don't you? James clipped it into Mrs. Diep's hair under the town lights, and later she pinned it on the wall beside the sea drawings. The sea, the rocks, the crooked boat, and the note they'd written. The day we saw the sea and stayed together. A few days after Christmas, the village returned to normal gossip and muddy paths. People stopped talking about lights and went back to talking about each other. Mrs. Diep had learned to walk through it with her head down and her hands busy. But inside that small house, she kept getting pulled toward that wall. It tugged at her when she passed the wall, and again when she tried to rest her aching back. The sea and the star weren't just decorations anymore. Together they felt like a quiet dare. You survived joy once. Can you make room for it again? Sea, star, boat, that note. It wasn't only nostalgia. It was the feeling of being asked, quietly, what now? One morning, she set a basket of mandarins on the table and stared. She thought of carrying fruit down to the market until her shoulders burned, of Tam's truck taking it away, of strangers peeling it with clean hands. The basket sat there, bright and real, and she couldn't shake the thought that her own home only ever met the fruit as work. James came in with a bit of firewood and tried a joke. You look like you're waiting for them to grow legs. She didn't laugh. I was thinking, she said slowly. These fruits, they always travel so far. I carry them to the market, then they ride in Tam's truck, then they end up on somebody's table in town. But they never belong to this house. James set the wood down. What if they did? He asked. She didn't say it out loud, but old worries lined up. Needs, numbers, and the tight math of a small number that can still be too big. A shop sounded like something that invites opinions and laughter. Miss Diep was tired of laughter that wasn't kind in this village. Miss Diep frowned. I'm not a shop. I'm just a woman with a hill and a back that hurts. James glanced toward the wall. You remember your drawings? Sea, boat, that red star? Of course. Maybe it's time to add one more picture, he said. Not of another place we visit, of something we build right here. We already have a house, she replied. We can't afford a shop. I'm not talking about a big shop, James said. I'm talking about your front gate. A little table, a basket, a sign. She blinked. Who would come all the way here? The road is small. People go to the main market. Some do, he said. Some don't. Children walking home. Workers passing by. A few people from town who come out to look at the fields. Maybe they'd like to buy fruit at the place it grew. Miss Diep gave a half-nervous laugh. And what would I call this little table? It can't just be fruit. Everyone has fruit. James grinned. Remember Anna's drawing? Mom's Hill? Miss Diep went quiet. She could picture that drawing and how it named her life without mocking it. Mom's Hill Fruits, James said softly. Right here, right where you live. Nye, who'd been pretending not to listen while doing homework, looked up. A sign? Like a real sign? Maybe just wood and paint, James said. Nothing fancy? Nee's eyes flicked to the gate as if she could already see it hanging there. Anna clapped. I sell, she declared. I say, hello, fruit, good fruit. You will scare everyone, Nye teased, but she was smiling. That night, while the girls slept, James pulled out an old wooden board he'd saved from fixing a shelf. He sanded it until it felt less like scrap and more like a chance. What are you doing? Mrs. Diep asked, folding laundry. Practicing, he said. The hill mother is still thinking. I'm getting ready in case she says yes. He painted the first careful letters in white. Mom's Hill Fruits. As he worked, the house stayed quiet except for the sandpaper and the occasional breath. Miss Diep kept folding clothes, but her eyes returned to the board again and again. She told herself not to hope too hard. Still, she watched those letters appear and felt something in her chest lift, just a little. Your hand is shaking, Miss Diep said. I'm painting in a language that isn't mine, James replied. Feels a little like my whole life now. Miss Diep touched the board where the word Mom sat. It's my hill, she said quietly, but it's their home too. Then maybe it's time the world knew that, James said. The next day on the hill, she asked Aunt Hi, if someone like me put a table by her gate with a sign that says Mom's Hill Fruits, would people laugh? Of course, Aunt Hi said. People laugh at anything new. They laughed when I started growing the short mandarin trees instead of the old tall ones. Then they copied me. They might say I'm showing off, Miss Diep murmured. Aunt Hi snorted. I see a woman who has carried baskets for years, so other people's tables can look pretty. Maybe it's time your own gate looked a little pretty too. And if nobody stops? Miss Diep asked. Then you still have fruit, Aunt Hi said, and a sign that says you tried. By evening, back at the house, Miss Diep looked at the board again. Uneven letters, but readable, and at the empty space under them. You forgot something, she told James. He looked up. What's that? She took the brush, heart thumping, and in careful English letters wrote, Fresh from our little hill. Her handwriting wasn't perfect, but it was hers. After she wrote it, she stepped back and stared as if she might see a different woman standing there. Someone brave enough to invite customers without begging. James didn't celebrate. He let the moment stay quiet, because quiet is where a person can finally hear their own courage. So, James said softly, is that a yes? It's a we can try tomorrow, she answered. If the girls help. I help, Anna shouted. I say welcome. I can write prices, Nye added. Neat ones, not like Mom's. Miss Diep stuck her tongue out at her, and the fear loosened. Early the next morning, before the sun got high, they set it up. A small wooden table, still a little wobbly, just inside the gate. One basket of mandarins, one of small oranges, a little bowl with a few ginger roots, a cloth that used to be a curtain. Mrs. Diep adjusted the cloth. Nye lined the baskets up. Anna helped by moving fruit and grinning. James carried the sign out like it was something holy. Higher, Nye said. People need to see it from the road. He nailed it gently to the fence post. Mom's Hill Fruits, fresh from our little hill. The sign wasn't large, but it changed the gate. Anna stood under it, chest puffed. This my shop. No, Miss Diep corrected. This is our shop, and it's not a game. But we can still play, James said. A little. 4 people stood at a tiny gate. staring at a homemade sign like it was a castle door. Now picture it. A narrow dirt road, a leaning fence, one crooked table with fruit, and that sign. Not a grand opening, more like a whisper saying, "We're here." The first hour, nothing happened. Motorbikes went by without slowing. A neighbor walked past, glanced at the sign, and kept going. Anna stood behind the table on a little stool, swinging her feet. Each time she heard an engine, she whispered, "Customer coming, customer coming." Then, when nobody stopped, no customer. With a dramatic sigh, Nye sat with a notebook, making neat little price tags and not using most of them. James fixed the gate latch for the third time that week, pretending not to listen for footsteps. Miss Diep swept dust that didn't need sweeping. After a while, the quiet itself felt heavy. "Maybe it's a silly idea," Miss Diep murmured. "People have their own fruit. Why stop here?" "Maybe they're shy," James said. She gave him a look. In this village, new things make people noisy. Right on cue, the neighbor woman, the one who always had something to say at the market, stopped at the gate. Well, she said. "You opened a shop?" "It's just a little table," Miss Diep replied, back straightening. The woman read the sign out loud. "Mom's Hill Fruits. You've become a brand now?" Her laugh was small, but it cut. "We're still just us," James said calmly. "The hill is the same. The fruit is the same. Only the sign is new." The woman glanced at the prices Nye had written and clicked her tongue. "Market sells cheaper." "Market sells mixed," Miss Diep answered. "Here, people see the tree from the gate." The woman shrugged. "I hope your sign doesn't blow away in the first storm." Then she walked on. When she was gone, Anna made a face. "She mean, maybe she's uncomfortable," James said. "Sometimes when people see someone try something new, it reminds them of what they never tried." Nye looked up at the sign. "Do you want to take it down?" she asked her mother, very softly. Miss Diep shook her head. "No, we work too hard to hang it. We at least wait until the sun moves." By mid-morning, shadows shifted. The girls got bored and started drawing little fruits on scrap paper. A few children walking back from school slowed to look at the sign. One little boy whispered, "Pretty," then ran when his grandmother called. It was small, but it put a little air back into that table. Then, sometime after the town church bell floated in faintly, an older woman appeared at the gate. She wore a town jacket with nicer buttons, but her shoes were dusty. She carried a cloth bag and looked a little lost. "Excuse me," she said, in careful Vietnamese touched with something from the city. "Is this Mom's Hill Fruits?" Nye sat up so straight she nearly slipped. Yes, it is," the woman smiled. "I was visiting a friend in the next village. On the bus, someone mentioned a lady with a little sign by the hill. I thought, that sounds like the kind of place I like." She stepped closer and picked up a mandarin, then another, checking the skin. "These look like someone loved them," she said. "My mother picked them," Nye announced. The woman turned to Ms. Diep and really looked at her hands. "These hands?" "These hands," Miss Diep answered, shy. "Well," the woman said, "my name is Lan, and my hands would like to buy from your hands." Mrs. Diep felt her throat tighten as Lan spoke, not because the words were grand, but because they were respectful. Respect can hit hard when you haven't had much of it. She stood a little straighter without meaning to, as if her spine remembered the sea and the lights and chose to hold up one more new thing. Lon chose a handful of fruit, mandarins, a few oranges, even one funny-shaped ginger root. "Do you have a bag?" she asked. Nye, flustered, almost knocked over the basket. Anna held up a tiny plastic bag like a prize. "Here, bag for you." Lon bent down to Anna's level. "Thank you. Do you help your mom with the shop?" "This our shop," Anna said proudly. "Her mom and dad and Nye and me." "That's the best kind," Lon replied. "Family shops taste better." Lon paid without bargaining. Before she left, she looked back at the sign. "I like the words. Fresh from our little hill. It's humble and proud. You don't see that very often." When she disappeared down the road, the yard felt different. Not richer in money, though the coins were more than yesterday. Richer in permission. Miss Diep didn't cheer. She simply placed her palm on the table edge and felt the wood steady under her hand. For the first time, the gate didn't feel like a boundary that kept the world out. It felt like a doorway she could open on purpose and close on purpose without apologizing, without lowering her eyes. James let out a breath he'd been holding. "You did it," he said to Miss Diep. "Your first customer at your own gate." "She did it," Miss Diep corrected, nodding at Nye. "And she tapped Anna's nose. "And the woman who painted Mom on the sign," James added. "Her too," Nye said firmly. That evening, after they counted the small pile of coins 3 times, they sat at the table like always. It wasn't much, if you wrote it on paper, but it was theirs. When they counted the coins, Anna wanted to touch each one, and Nii wanted to organize them. Miss Diep watched their faces more than the money. She could already hear gossip tomorrow, but now she also had Lan's words in her memory. Humble and proud. That sounded like a blessing. "Tomorrow we can put out a few jars of jam," James said. "Maybe some dried peel." "Slow," Miss Diep warned. "My heart can only handle one new thing at a time." Nye was already sketching. "A better sign," she said. "For later, maybe with a little hill picture. And a star." "A red star," Anna insisted. "Like mommy hair." That night, when the girls slept, Miss Diep stood in front of the wall again. Sea drawings, crooked boat, the note about staying together, and the red star clip. In her mind, she added the sign on the fence outside. She didn't pray for big things. She whispered, "Let our sign stay. Let my hands keep working. Let my children grow up knowing we were not afraid to try." And in a world that's always telling hard-working people to keep their heads down, sometimes that's the bravest sentence in the room. In the days after Christmas, Ms. Diep keeps staring at the red star clip pinned beside the sea drawings and their note about staying together. A basket of mandarins makes her wonder why their fruit always travels to other tables but never belongs at home. James suggests a tiny gate stand, 1 table, baskets, and a hand-painted sign. With Aunt Hi's push, they name it Mom's Hill Fruits, and Ms. Diep adds, "Fresh from our little hill." The first hour brings silence. Then a neighbor woman's sharp remark tests their nerve. Ms. Diep refuses to take the sign down. Later, Lon arrives, buys fruit without bargaining, and praises the words as humble and proud. The first coins give the family permission to keep trying. That night, they talk about jam, dried peel, and a future sign with a red star.